Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel BBTechHub. So you all know right now I'm going through the CCNA series, and this series, the first topic I have started, that is OSI reference model. And in this OSI reference model, that there are 7 layers are there, and in the previous video I have discussed about the application layer. Which one is the 7th layer? We can say the topmost layer also. Now next to this layer there is another layer, that is presentation layer. So what actually these layers are, that I told you also. Then also once again I'm going to clarify this thing. Suppose there are two devices are communicating. One is the sender, another is my receiver. Sender is trying to convey a message, hello, how are you? And of course receiver is also receiving this message, hello, how are you? As a human being, as a user, we can see this part only, but we do not know in the back end what processes are going on. Is it clear? So the thing is that how it is happening, whatever information we are sending in the receiving end, we are receiving all those informations also. Fine. So in the application layer, user is interacting with the system. The moment, what happens? The moment the data passes from application to presentation layer, then what type of transformation happens in this layer, that we will see. So everybody remember, this is the presentation layer, what we officially call as the 6th layer. So if it is the 6th layer, that is presentation, so at the sending end, when the sender is sending the data, so the first who is receiving, application is receiving. And after the application is passing the data to the presentation layer. That means at the sending end, what happened? Presentation layer receives the data from the application layer, add the header and pass the data to the session layer. Is it clear, everyone? And at the receiving end, just reverse process is going on. Just reverse. What happens? Presentation layer will receive the data from the session layer, and what will happen? They detach the header and pass to the data to the application. Am I clear? So this is the 6th layer of OSI reference model. And what function is happening in this layer, that once we go through, there are 3 important functions: translation, encryption, and compression. Am I clear? So these 3 main functions happens in this layer. So now we will say, what is translation? So everybody, we have to understand, every computer system is maintaining an unique encoding system. It may be ASCII, it may be Unicode, whatever, it may be BCD, Gray, Johnson, whatever code is there. So when we are sending the data, so one code must be converted to the another code, so the receiving computer also can understand. So because I also told you previously, interoperability is very much important. So that in the presentation layer, what happens, if the system is using ASCII, suppose this system is using ASCII code. So this ASCII code will be converted in a common format, and data will travel in common format, and in the receiving end, this common format again will be converted to the system specific format. Suppose the receiving end is using the BCD coding system. So how communication is happening? Sender system is converting the ASCII to the common format, data travels in a common format, and at the receiving end, again this common format is converted back into the system specific format. That means again in the BCD. So this process is called as nothing but the translation. Am I clear? So you can see what happens in the your translation in this layer. The presentation layer handles the interoperability between the vendors. Whatever may be the under any circumstances, whatever the encoding system computer is happening, data must pass one system to the another system, and it should, receiver should understand in which format, what format sender has sent the data. Is it? Now you go for the encryption. In this layer, another main function is the encryption. What encryption? See everyone, if you are sending data from one device to another device and it is very sensitive data, this is public interface. And you know, there are lots of hackers are there to trap the data. So if we send this data in plain text and if the hacker get access this data, it is gone. My network is gone. So to maintain the security, what happens at the sending end, plain text will be converted in the ciphertext. Ciphertext is nothing but a coded form. Am I clear? Data will travel through the coded form. So if the hacker get access of my data also, they cannot read the data because my data is not in a normal format. It is in the coded format. Without knowing the key, your hacker cannot read my data. And again, in the receiving end, data will be converted from ciphertext to plain text. This process, this plain text to ciphertext is called as encryption, and the ciphertext to plain text conversion is called as decryption. So in the presentation layer, what happened? To maintain the security at the sending end, encryption is done, and at the receiving end, the decryption is done. So what happens at the sending end? Data is converted from plain text to the ciphertext. Data travels through the network in the ciphertext, and on the receiving end, what happens? Again, data will be converted back from ciphertext to the plain text, and this concept is called as nothing but the encryption. Am I clear? If we encrypt our network, we know our network is safe. And for this purpose, there are very important two protocols are there, that is SSL, Secure Socket Layer, and TLS, Transport Layer Security, who are providing this type of feature. Am I clear? So you think how responsible job is doing this presentation layer. First is the translation, second is the encryption. Now I will go to the third layer. So suppose I'm giving an example to you people. आप घूमने जाते हो. So you think you have taken 10 small bags. If one bag is also missing, it will be very much difficult to identify. Yes, because you have small 10 bags. So you think what happens? And if this 10 small bag will occupy lots of space. So if I take a big bag instead of 10 small bags, so it will be very much noticeable. You can remember that you are carrying how many bags. Okay, if that bag is misplaced, very easily and quickly you can identify. It will occupy less space also. Same way, my dear, when we are transferring the data, if the data is in the bulk format, so what will happen? It will occupy much bandwidth. The moment it will occupy this much bandwidth, the performance of the network will degrade. So what we should do, whatever may be the way, data should be intact, but we will compress it. Am I clear? So data compression is done in the presentation layer so that we can save the bandwidth of the network and improve the performance of the network. So see how it is happening. Now the question is that when we are compressing the data, is a question, is there any chance that data is lost? Maybe lost, maybe. So that's why there are two types of compressions are there. One is lossless, another is the lossy. You have compressed the data, you have transmitted the compressed data, and the receiving end from the compressed data, if you decompress and make it convert in the original format, and if both are same, means no data loss is there, this is called as lossless compression. Am I clear? Suppose what happens, your data size is 100 MB. You have compressed to 10 MB. Data is transmitted in the 10 MB format, and in the receiving end, again you decompress and you get it is as it is 100 MB. So that means what, my dear? Before compression and after compression, size of the data is same. So what you will say, this is my lossless compression. Am I clear? So, of course, you tell me which one will be beneficial, lossy or lossless. Now you just reverse the situation. What happens? Same 100 MB data, original. I have compressed in 10 MB. Data is transmitted in 10 MB format. At the receiving end, when we have decompressed, we have seen data is 98 MB. That means what? The decompressed format and before compression, data is mismatching, means some bits are lost. This type of communication is lossy. So network believes in lossless communication. Is it clear? So that we have to follow such type of compression technique so that my data compression should be very less. So you can see in lossy compression, data which is received after decompression of compressed data is not exactly same as the original data. Am I clear? So everyone, so come to the conclusion. So what will happen? What are the main three functions a presentation layer is performing? The moment data is coming from the application layer, presentation layer start doing their function. What? First, it will translate, then it will compress, and it will do the encryption. Am I clear? So now you think my data has been translated, compressed, and also encrypted. So what next? So what will be the next stage of the data? We will learn in the session layer, which will come in my next video. Okay. So bye-bye. Thank you.